Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So White Tiger's deep dive is here and I know so many people are excited to see White Tiger joining the contest. And she looks really cool. Now it's going to be a question of how great she's going to be, but it does look quite sick. It does look like a very aggressive, very Tigra-esque playstyle, something in a mix of Tigra and Silk, I suppose. Uh, but there are some really cool things for sure in her kit. So she's more than likely going to be an offensive type of Nightmare. I don't think she will have too much of a defensive impact on the game, other than that 15% power gain and then. But she gains Fury buffs. She's, I believe, the first Mystic that's immune to Nullify, or one of the very first at the very least. She has a ton of power control and power steal. She gains power in a unique way as well. And there's definitely quite a lot to be liked about her. So, the Mighty Tiger Gods grant White Tiger immunity to Nullify. White Tiger has minus 70% offensive combat power rate, but she passively gains half of the power the opponent gains. Super cool. And when inflicted with a damaging debuff, she has a 20% chance for each unique buff on the opponent to purify that. So she's going to be a Mystic Purifier in certain matchups, which I kind of like. We don't have that in game, so I do think that is quite unique as well. Her power gain mechanic is quite unique, and there are definitely quite a few new introductions to the contest, like this idea where your abilities work on every other special attack is kind of from Vox, but in this case you can end up pretty much endlessly stealing opponents' power and spamming your special attacks, gaining the Furies that are immune to Nullify, pausing them, you get this passive precision on your dashes, and you can be like super aggressive, which is quite unique, and you're going to have Unblockable to help you with that as well. On your level 2, level 1 basically gives you Furies. That is what you're going to be spamming in shorter fights. Level 2 is kind of unique, where on level 2 you place a 3-second bleed, and then you're also healing what your opponent would have healed at that point. So the final hit inflicts a quite potent bleed debuff for 3 seconds. Keep in mind, this is going to synergize extremely well with Deep Wounds, which is again something relatively new for the Mystic class. And while this bleed is active, the opponent cannot heal, and you can steal that heal. After this bleed expires, nullify all regeneration buffs on the opponent. So she has some regen control in her kit as well. I don't know how potent it's going to be, but it's definitely quite interesting. Another unique thing with her is that her special 3 is basically permanently disabled unless you're like charging a heavy attack or, connecting your heavy attack. And that is also very cool for a character like this, so you don't accidentally overshoot. I absolutely love that they're doing that. So many champions, especially something like Hyperion, but many Mystics in general, have often that problem where you accidentally push yourself to level 3. And this is possibly the coolest way how to get rid of it, because you can just dash back and be into your own, corner and charge your heavy attack and drop level 3. So that's super unique. And I love that. So your special 3, as an attacker, this special attack cannot be activated unless White Tiger is charging or performing heavy attack. This special attack grants White Tiger 2 additional Fury buffs that exceed your limit, so you're going to get more damage with it. And also you inflict a Fear debuff, which is going to be a new debuff on the opponent. I believe it was a passive, though, not a debuff, but whichever. And you basically reduce opponent's block proficiency and completely shut off their unblockable. You reduce them blockable accuracy by 100%. Basically, they're not going to be unblockable when they should be. And if you're awakened, you also start the fight with that. So at the start of each fight, inflict the Fear passive, reducing unblockable ability accuracy by flat 100%, and removing perfect block chance for 20 seconds, up to 20 seconds, actually. And once per fight, when either champion drops to 15% of their max health, White Tiger gains a power gain buff, granting 100% of her max power for 6 seconds. As defender, this only triggers once per quest. So this is going to be something that obviously catches people out. If she gains that power and she doesn't throw a special immediately and you're unable to kill her immediately, you could be in trouble there. Offensively, this will give you a nice finishing touch as well. So that's basically White Tiger. There's not too much else in her kit. You kind of have to see it for the most part in order to understand how she works, and therefore I do have this Gallant Fight rotation here. So we're going to see that she's going to activate her level 1, and she continuously gains power, and then you activate another level and steals the opponent's power. Then you activate another level 1, and then on the next one you do so again, and you gain a ton of power. Because remember, you also gain power that your opponent gets. So there's a ton of power gain, basically. And that looked absolutely brutal, like, let's face it. So we can take a look at it again. So we can see that Gallant's power is being stolen. White Tiger gets a ton of power. She's unblockable after that special. You activate another special. He's not quite at 3 bars of power. So then you go in again. And it's just quite savage. It is something that does, remind you of Tiger playstyle in a sense, except that here, instead of phasing through projectile special attacks or just punishing them with a massive level to your own, you just kind of spam your special attacks and try to prevent opponent from throwing their specials. And your unblockable is obviously going to help you with that, and then you can gain these precisions, and with the Furies you do seem to be doing quite a substantial amount of damage as well. At the very least, it looks quite exciting. That precision potency has to be quite big as well. So I don't know what else to tell you about that. You guys can say, I know a ton of people who are going to be grabbing that early access bundle, immediately taking the White Tiger up. Who knows? It could be me too, because she does, in fact, again, look extremely exciting. Obviously, without getting too kind of hyped up, we need to see more of her. We need to see how she functions, how her damage holds up, how realistic are those rotations, how her matchups look like, how many of the troublesome champions she will actually be able to deal with, which of the troublesome defenders she will struggle with. But in theory, like, if you're stopping opponents from throwing special attacks, basically, you should be able to deal with quite a lot. And obviously, the immunity to nullify will kind of ensure she works under plenty of circumstances and quite a lot of matters too. But that is White Tiger. I am definitely, personally, quite excited. I cannot say that she's going to be like an insane champion, because there are things that can go wrong in her kit. She does look like a very, very solid attacker. We'll see how her utility holds up. I think that is going to be a key part, because she's a mystic with obviously power control, a bit of regen control, but there's no other immunities aside from nullify. There is no buff control basically at all whatsoever, aside from you being able to nullify the regions. And that's kind of up in keeping with many of the newer mystics, where we do not have buff control, but typically there's at least like something in there, like either a neutralize or some quicker buff expirations. This time around seems to be pretty much nothing. So quite different take on a mystic champion, but also somewhat really similar to Tiger. I like a lot of the new additions though, like that level 3 mechanic, disabling it completely basically, is just sweet. Let me know what you guys think, and I'm gonna catch you soon. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information